now it comes down to, can you execute in the passing game? And that'll be really interesting to see exactly how Baker does in the passing game. I will tell you this. um, he has been uncanny, especially in the second half of this season, to perform his best in the most critical moments. And I talked to Dave Canales, their offensive coordinator, and he said it's just remarkable what Baker has done in critical moments and the way he has played in critical moments. And it's almost the more pressure that Baker is under, the more pressure that he feels, the better he's going to play in situational football. And so, one thing I'll tell you about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have gotten their run game together. And this is something that I did a Tampa game, and we talked ad nauseum. And I talked with Baker, and I talked with Dave Canales, their OC, and I talked to Todd Bowles about, their run game and getting that going. And they have fixed some of their run game. Their running back, is it Rashid White, right?
Rashad White, yes.
Rashad White, yeah. Rashad White has just been phenomenal, running hard. They've kind of pared down and eliminated some things they were trying to do early in the season, and he's been really good. Their running game has been much better. And then when you're talking about, Palmer, the young kid, the rookie, mixed with Chris Godwin, who's one of the best wide receivers and one of the toughest and kind of no-nonsense blockers in the business. And then, of course, with Mike Evans and what he brings, they're formidable. And Otten, if you can get him going like you did in the wild card game against Philadelphia, they're a very, very tough offense to defend. So they're going to be a challenge for Detroit's defense without question.
I'm glad you brought up, them kind of finding some extra dimensions, because my thing with the Buccaneers is they've been such a Jekyll and Hyde team. Like, I believe the game that you called against Atlanta, they score 13 points. Their defense is doing everything it can to keep them in the game, and they just can't get enough. They've actually had, I looked this up, they've had 7 games where they score 26 plus points. The passing game is going. They've also had 6 where they can't even get 14 points on the board. So it's a very feast or famine situation. Do you think it's getting that run game going? Is that the extra layer that they needed to be able to sustain some of this success?
Yeah. I think if you look at what Houston was able to do, look at what Green Bay did against Dallas. Like, both those guys, both Jordan Love and CJ Stroud had 21 attempts. Playoff football is interesting. As much as we try to morph professional football into college, it's not. The field is different. The hash marks are different. The players are different. So it's just never going to be college football. And I know we keep trying to morph it into that, but show me the team that gets the most attempts rushing the football. Show me the team that can dominate both lines of scrimmage, and I'll show you the team that's going to win every single game. And playoffs more than any other place. One thing I always say about, the difference between, just about offensive football in the NFL. When you get out of rhythm as an offense, you can't throw yourself back into rhythm. You just can't. And it's one of those things that's, to me, you got to get a bunch of fat dudes on the field, right? You got to condense formations, get multiple tight ends, get a fullback in there, and you got to bludgeon people. And when you bludgeon people, you get out of that too high shell look, and you make them get into a single high safety look, and you make a guy reduce in there. And now we got one-on-ones on the outside, and we've got alleys, for verticals and everything else. That's how you get yourself back into a rhythm in the passing game. And so many teams are trying to morph into this, let's throw it, 65, 70% of the time and only run it occasionally. That does not work playoff time. It just doesn't. You're not gonna consistently be able to win games doing that. And Tampa certainly has figured that out. And Dave Canales, their OC, has certainly grown from the first couple of weeks of the season to what they're doing right now in the running game.